All right, talk about the setup here and how we first step in making these coins is we got to make a coin blank. We're gonna be punching out some aluminum, right? I'm trying that out. I got brass way over here to punch out later too, but we'll just kind of walk you through the process. So what I have here is a cutting die. The commercial version of this is pretty expensive, about $100. You usually get 4 or 5 different hole sizes. I needed something very custom for what I wanted to do for the size I needed. So I made my own, which is 1/2 inch plate, cut down. The centerpiece here was originally all the way through. Holes, screw, all this becomes one piece. And we bore out a hole. This happens to be at a 1.330 size hole. And then I had to make a punch this piece, and then pre-assembly we cut off everything that we don't need so that our material here, you guys can see our material here just goes through and slides through the process pretty easy. And then I got enough backing underneath the backside here that is just enough that I'll get a good punch without ripping the material and not causing any harm to me or the equipment. So we'll go ahead and put the first one in, put in the top die, and then I center it on this piece of machinery here. This piece of machinery is an industrial hole punch. It's from Beaver. Cost I think 200 and some change, and it punches holes. So what we have here for the hole punching would be this die, and it's female die. Plate goes in between and it punches a hole. And steel and other things. I needed it for the force. It's 35 tons, so that's 70,000 pounds of pressure. It's powered by this, which is a hydraulic pump. I'm gonna guess at least, let's see what we see. I don't see a horsepower on it, but I'm gonna guess it's at least a 1 horsepower motor. I'll have to look at that more in depth. And then underneath here is a tank, and in that tank is hydraulic fluid. I have a digital dial here, 1 to 14,000 PSI. Obviously that's 14,000. This thing would probably break and shatter in my face and I wouldn't be here. But I have it capped out at 6,000 PSI, which should roughly give me, on the dial here, should give me about 40,000 pounds, give or take, which is roughly 20 tons. But more than capable for what I needed to do. I got it all centered up in the die so that it'll catch and punch and do what it needs to do. So you can hear a little noise, turn it on. Now we flip it down, watch the punch. A little spacer piece here. And that punches out our blank. Put this out of the way. And there's our coin blank. With it being aluminum, this is 50-52 aluminum, so it's pretty soft for what it is. I wanted to punch a die, put on my base plate that I had to make here, and then let's go ahead and find a die. We'll do a nat 20 on one side, get that guy in place, and then we'll find the other nat 20. There. Organizing dies is going to be a future me problem. There we go. Here's my nat 20. And here's my natural 20 die. So if you're not a gamer or an RPGer, you have a 20-sided die, 1 through 20. You roll a 1, you're pretty much guaranteed to die in whatever campaign or game you're playing. You're guaranteed a 20. That's the best that you can get. So they call it a nat 20 throw. So what I'm creating is a game piece for roleplay gamers. Basically, instead of rolling a die, you can just flip the coin, right? It's either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. There's no in between, kind of adding some fun to the game, or it just becomes a game piece or a fidget toy or some variant. But that's what we're producing. And then we go ahead and select the appropriate size sleeve. You got my sleeve here. It isn't this one, it's this one over here. We got our sleeve, which just kind of holds everything in place. I got my coin blank in place. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on there, center it in the workpiece, and then take my nat 20, put it over the top. And now a traditional coin, you flip it heads to tails, vertically versus horizontally. So we'll just get these set up in place. And then we're gonna go ahead and run this one. The machine's going to 6,000 pounds. Installs out there. 1/5 of the turn, give or take. Press it out again, pretty quick. And just let it do its thing. I'm watching the die, I'm watching the dial indicator here. Doing its thing. I'm gonna do one more. Sometimes I lose count, so there's usually a couple extra pushes in it. So a little bit about this pump before we look at the die and the coin that we created. I have 2 option ports, so I could go to the left and power another plug-in. Right now I have it set up if I do that as an accident. Instead of just having a plug there, which squirt a little bit of oil on me, which really isn't gonna hurt unless it got in my eyeball. But it's just a fail-safe. Later on, my plan is to run 2 machines, so I can just go one and then the other and kind of speed up the production aspect of it. But it's set up. What happens here in the press here is I would imagine there's a spring that pushes the oil back into the center once it's on free flow, which is how I imagine it retracts. There's got to be some sort of retraction spring because it's a one-way pump, but it picks itself up. So there's got to be a spring. But here's our piece. Sometimes they get a little stuck. Just give it a little whack. And there's a 20, there's the coin. So on that side, right, there's an actual 20. And the other side flipped up the other opposite way should be the nat 20, nat 1, nat 20. Aluminum, this stuff's pretty thick. I think it's an eighth inch, 50, 52 aluminum. So it's pretty soft, pretty malleable. And it's good. It's a good die. Turned out good. Anyways, that's how the coins are being made. We cut them out. We cut out a bunch of blanks. If it's brass, the only difference with cutting out the brass versus the aluminum is on the brass I have to go here. On the brass, you can see kind of a little difference here. This is a we'll call it a medium hard brass, hard enough that I can punch it. So if it's too soft, I wouldn't be able to cut the blanks. But I have to make it softer so that I get a good impression every time, the first time. And so what we do is we heat it up to red hot, drop it into water. It immediately quenches it and it anneals it, which is kind of different than steel, makes it super, super soft. And then I throw it in a vibratory tumbler with some walnuts, and it cleans up any of the blemishes that might be happening from heat treating it, right? Annealing it down. And then I can take this blank, so we'll do the same one. Why not? I got time. We'll do the same one in brass. So, same thing. Put that guy in there, put our sleeve on, take our other die, make sure everything's appropriately, and we'll go knock this one out. Why not? That's our second one. Maybe it was 4, I wasn't even counting. And that's 4. Yeah, perfect. Full impression, looks clean. There it is in brass, and there it is in aluminum. So aluminum is obviously significantly cheaper than running the brass. Brass looks nicer. It's got the real heavy metal feeling to it, so probably more of a trade coin or challenge coin. This is probably going to end up being more of a game piece for people. A lot cheaper and a lot faster, less resources to produce it out of aluminum. We can still do it out of silver. If anybody wants to send me some gold, I'd love to make one out of actual gold, because I think it'd be pretty cool, but I don't have that kind of money. I would imagine for a piece of gold this big, we're probably pushing pretty close to an actual full ounce, and I don't have $3 grand to throw at one of these. So, but that's how the press works. You might have seen something in the video where this thing kind of bows out. That's where all this reinforcement back here is in place. And I do constantly monitor it for any kind of breaking, cracking sound. I would imagine that if it does explode, it's going to go up that way and back that way. So that's why I have this platform here, is to kind of help catch any of that impact. Hopefully that never happens. Anyways, that's how we make our challenge coins and gaming pieces. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you.